But you're right. You could go, and start writing a book, which I know you've helped people do as well. Or you can look at your phone and scroll up for a couple hours. And the dopamine fix is so easy to do. So I totally can see that. Let me kind of ask you a question though. A lot of people I work with sometimes they have great potential, but they find themselves in a situation, an environment where they can't really flourish or they're not gelling or vibing with their environment. What would you say to someone who's kind of struggling with that issue?
Sure thing. I'd have to say, get around a better environment. Like, for example, I kind of had this issue where I was trying to make a name for myself in Toastmasters by volunteering, and I was a part of two separate clubs, but I had an opportunity to oversee a set of clubs that were about a good 10 to 20 miles outside of my immediate zone. So basically, I would go and visit different areas and volunteer in those areas, eventually moving up the ranks where I was getting known in a different zip code and getting around different people that were more positive. So for those listening to this right now, if you haven't heard of Toastmasters, that's something you can do. Find a Toastmasters club, and there's a lot of clubs that are meeting virtually now during the pandemic. And also meetups. There could be virtual meetups that are still happening right there. There are also positive Facebook groups out there, especially if you're in the podcasting space. I believe the podcast support group is probably the biggest and most helpful now. And just really choosing to be around those people that will help you to feel better about yourself, because if you change your zip code, it'll eventually change your mind as well, because when you change your environment, you'll eventually change your actions, especially if it's an environment where the demand is a lot higher than your normal environment. Because if they demand more of you because they see more potential in you, then you're going to perform greater. If it's one of those work situations where there's a lot of water cooler talks or whatever, and I mean, considering the moment now, there may be times where that may not be happening as much. It could be just that moment of getting within yourself and doing some self-reflection. And when it comes time for your lunch break or your dinner break, use this time to not sit in the cafeteria or at your desk, to actually get outside of your office to enjoy some nature. Maybe sit in your car if you want to, listen to some great music or something that'll educate you, inform you, or heck, even listening to some stand-up material as well, because it's great to educate yourself, but there's always room for a little entertainment here and there so you can stay a little lighthearted.